Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Thank you for joining me for this continuing discussion on 30 reasons for being Muslim. Today I want to look at the fact that Islam encourages us to care for the environment, and that to me is an excellent reason for being Muslim. Let's look broadly at where the problem lies. We are human beings. We live on our planet, and our planet is precious to us. We want to make sure that it is continuous, that the environment is cared for. We want to make sure that plant and animal life are all flourishing, and that humans have a safe place to live and to pass on to our children and grandchildren. At the same time, our religions are dear to us, our faiths are important, and we want to make sure that there is a harmony between our current thoughts and our traditional faiths. We want to make sure that when we are subscribing to our faiths, we are subscribing to a system of thought that is beneficial to our environment in particular, but to our modern concerns as a whole. And when we look at what is happening, we see that many people are going back nowadays to their religious teachings. They're combing the scriptures to find what precious pearls can we bring out from our scriptures that might address our present environmental concerns. And people find things that they might reinterpret. For example, there is the mention that God told Adam to have dominion over the earth and to subdue it. And this in the past was taken to mean that, human beings had full authority and power over the earth, and they can just ravish it as they please. But in our modern times, nowadays people will just simply look at this and say, well, no, it shouldn't mean that. Let us understand it to mean that human beings are to be the stewards of the earth. We are to protect it and care for it and nurture it and so on. So good, a nice interpretation. But there isn't that much that can be interpreted or reinterpreted because, these our religions were formed a long time ago, when these concerns were not there in the horizons of people. Now, what is surprising is that the Islamic faith, although it reached its culmination more than a millennium ago, nonetheless, it has a lot to say about the environment. For example, in the 30th chapter of the Quran, we read, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. Corruption has appeared on land and sea because of what human hands have wrought. And that speaks so pertinently to our present circumstance. We know about our disposal of garbage. We know of our chlorofluorocarbons that have affected the ozone layer. We know of the myriad ways in which we have been harming and we continue to harm our environment. And as for the story of Adam in the Quran, we don't have it that God said to Adam, okay, subdue the earth or something like this. But rather, God says in the Quran that Adam is being placed on the earth as a khalifa. That's in the 2nd chapter of the Quran, the 30th verse. And a khalifa means something like a vicegerent, a representative for God, and by extension, Adam's descendants would be also representatives of God on earth to take care of the earth along with God. And as for subduing the earth, well, God already assures us in the Quran that He has actually placed the earth under our care and for our use. So there's no need for us to try to subdue it. But, the language of subjugation seems a little bit harsh from the point of view of the earth. And so taking care of the earth is something that comes naturally to Muslim, or should come naturally to Muslims. The hadith takes this up even further, and it talks about the importance of trees and the planet in general, caring for the environment. A hadith says that if you are about to plant a seedling and the day of judgment is about to occur, and you can finish doing the planting, well, go ahead and plant it. Why? Because planting a tree is a good deed. Another hadith says that if you plant a tree and it gives shades to people and animals, that counts to your credit. If it gives fruits and people and animals eat from the fruit, then that counts to your credit in the life hereafter. So you see, that too is a good deed. It's not only prayer and fasting, but we get blessings for planting a tree. When it comes to water, water is a precious resource in our modern times. And it is surprising that in the Quran, there is much about water. And in the hadith as well, in the hadith it is mentioned that if you are making ablution for getting ready for prayer, well, you might think, okay, I'm doing a sacred duty here. Let me wash and wash and wash as much as possible, use as much water as I can. But the hadith says that even if you're beside a river that is flowing ahead of you, then use only that much water which is necessary for your ablutions. So that means the idea of conserving and caring for the resources, this is there in the narrative. More generally, we are warned against wastage. We are not to waste the precious resources of God, and we're to give thanks for the resources that God has placed at our disposal. The Quran itself warns us against the wastage when the Quran says, "Kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu," eat and drink, but do not waste. Inna Allaha la yuhibbul musrifin. God does not like those who waste. And in another verse, in the 17th chapter, the Quran says, "Wala tubadhir tabdhira," and do not waste. And furthermore, "Innal mubadhirina kanu ikhwana shayateen." Those who waste are siblings of the devil. So we should be careful that those descriptions do not apply to us. And we lament how much we do waste. Nonetheless, to conclude, this to me is an excellent reason for being Muslim. The reason being that Islam teaches us to care for the environment. And when in our modern times, we Muslims, like everybody else, care for our precious environment, and at the same time, we find our religion dear to us, and we'd like to see a harmony, a matching between the religious prescriptions and this modern sensitivity, we find that to be in Islam. Islam teaches us to care for the environment, and we want to care for the environment. An excellent reason for being Muslim. How does that make us better persons? Well, when we care for the environment, we are fulfilling something that is deep within us, a need to make sure that this environment is preserved and the world is habitable and is something that we can pass on to our children and grandchildren. How does it make the world a better place? Well, as we become more environmentally conscious and we spread this consciousness to others, we make the world a better place by producing more persons who care for the world. So thank you for joining me for this episode, and join me again tomorrow for another discussion on 30 reasons for being Muslim.
There are people out there who don't interact with Muslims at all in their day-to-day lives. They learn everything they know about Muslims from TV or social media. Our Muslim Media Hub will reach these people and transform their lives. Support us at QuranSpeaks.com.